My name is Anna Klochkova, and originally I'm from Russia. I came to Canada 18 years ago. I live now in Ottawa, where I have my studio. In my studio, I teach violin and piano, also as music theory and string ensembles. Also, I played in different ensembles, like chamber music ensembles, like a duet with piano, strings trios, and strings quartets. And also, I'm a concertmaster of a symphony orchestra. It's named Kanata Symphony Orchestra. Honestly, I didn't think about my career as a musician. My parents are not musicians. And since I live in a small town, we didn't have much concerts, live concerts and performance. But by this time, it was very popular in Russia. People was watching performance concerts, classical music concerts on the TV. And my family, we all liked music and watched them on TV. When I was watching, I was imagining myself being among these musicians, and I was very curious how they playing in violin, how it works, and how it's interesting sounds together when symphony orchestra performed. So I was curious. But as I said, my parents weren't musician, and so it kind of wasn't question I will be a musician. But my mom's best friend, she was a violin teacher in a town. And she inspired her to try to teach me violin and would see what is happening. As I remember myself, I was always I was very musical kid. I like to singing, performing. And when I was getting to music school exam, to the music school, they asked me to sing any song I like. And I was chosen singing very, very difficult song, as I remember, with many, many difficult intonations. And the teachers who was getting this exam, they were very surprised how 7-year-old girl can do very detailing intonation singing. So, and since that, I was in a music school. My parents bought me violin and introduced, this is your instrument. No, since I was imagining myself being on the stage, I was very excited about this. And I start my music journey, even didn't know I will have a musician in the future. Each people is unique and each musician is unique. In my opinion, the music, I find it's like a story you telling people by playing, by performing some music art. And it's kind of, as I said, is a story, and each person choose their own language, own words to tell the story and bring it to audience. It's my uniqueness, if I can say it, if I'm unique. I think my Russian root helped me to do this because of I find, I think, a little bit more understanding Russian classical composers. They were used traditional music in their arts. Kind of Tchaikovsky, the composers of St. Petersburg school, it's like Rimsky-Korsakov, Borodin, Mussorgsky, Q.E. Balakirev, and actually one Balakirev was originally from my small town. He was from there. He was born there. He didn't live and worked in this small town. He moved, but I was kind of proud to be born in the same land as him. And this is kind of, if I count my uniqueness. I think Russian uniqueness in music, it's this music accords to traditional music. And traditional music, it's very unique for each people. I think it's in each folk's songs, especially for Russian, because it's multicultural we have a lot of different culture in the same territory. And as you know, the Russia, the biggest country, it's diversity of many traditions, and they woven together like, and this is very unique, I find. Some people the folks who lives in the north territory, for them, the more they like value sound in songs. It's like slow songs. They are very intonated, and sometimes it's atonical songs also. For South people, they like more fast tempos in their folk songs, and this is all combining in very famous composers' works. This is, I think, like Tchaikovsky is again, I'm saying, and Mussorgsky, and it's another composer, and kind of they were different vision of schools, Moscow school and St. Petersburg school. Also very important, and now it's starting being more popular in Russia, religious music. What is a performance in the Russian Orthodox churches? One famous Rachmaninov wrote a lot of music for church, a cappella choir. And the same as well-known Gricheninov, the name of the composer. He wrote a lot of arts for church choir. It's very interesting work and kind of unique. The first misunderstanding was like we were forcing to do like music, teaching, or another arts, and people didn't want to do this, but government pressed them and pushed them. But it wasn't true, and especially for musical education, like because it's many people playing, it was very popular, but it was popular by itself. It was part of the life and we haven't been forcing by anybody. It was just culturally, naturally for people in Russia by this time. This is, I think, this most like misunderstanding. Like international language. Musicians, I worked with international musicians a lot in my life. So the one thing, we don't need to study special language, like connection. The music connect us. It makes us friends and colleagues and co-workers. So, and we can talk through the music language. Yes, we definitely took all barriers off, and one culture can introduce another culture and mix them together and makes interesting like combinations of performances or using as composers use in their arts. Yes, some performer, composer, Canadian was combining. It was like a variations for folk songs. It was actually Ukrainian and Russian and Ukrainian Canadian all together. It was I forgot exactly the name of it. Was a women composer. We played that 5 of women composers a few years ago. Was combinations of the songs. I think it was Christmas Carol. Since I moved to Canada, of course, I was afforded by Canadian culture. It's very interesting combinations now. I am experiencing now. It's like a combining Russian roots and new Canadians culture. And I was thinking about this for a while. It kind of, I can say, like traditional music culture seems to be more conservative compared with Canadian one. To speak as a politician, I said Russian musical culture is more conservative and Canadian more democracy and liberative. This is very interesting topic to think about, how Canadians are open-minded for taking something new from its most multicultural country here. And this is interesting how each culture bring their own roots and how they mix together, and how Canadians, composers, performers, musicians, they are open to play something new, like experimenting. And sometimes it's very interesting, sometimes it's even funny, but it's definitely it's amazing, fantastic. For me, I like it very much.